It would be practically impossible at this point to make a ranking list about RPGs without mentioning what many people would consider the GOAT, Baldur's Gate 3. It's an absolutely massive and sprawling adventure that takes place over 3 acts, all of which are filled to the brim with hours and hours of top quality content. But for me, what really makes this game so special is the reactivity. It feels like for any action you can think of, no matter how big or small, there is a highly produced, fully voice acted, or gameplay heavy way in which the game radically realizes you. And every mission, whether that be from the main story or one of the side gigs, can be solved in quite literally any way you can think of. There are even people online who have stacked hundreds of boxes into the air and climbed up all of them in order to get to higher levels of a castle to invade it unseen. But what Baldur's Gate 3 does so well is that it marries these genres perfectly, that being deep CRPGs and also very intricate immersive sims, and makes an experience that really puts the role-playing back in role-playing games. Having the freedom to choose exactly what you want to do, whether that is in dialogue or combat, is so exhilarating. For me, it's just the perfect example of everything that an RPG should be. It's to the point where I could think of pretty much any other game on this list, and I would prefer that it had the same game philosophy and design and gameplay approach of Baldur's Gate 3, even if I actually like their stories better. And that's because the design of Baldur's Gate 3 is all about radically realizing whatever you do as the player. It's the holy grail of what RPGs were meant to do in the first place. The ability to create our own characters and tell our own stories, or have an effect on the world that truly feels real, with deep gameplay mechanics for combat and leveling up our characters. That way we can make them really our own. In spite of the lackluster world and writing, something I value very highly in my RPGs, don't get me wrong, the rest of the package in Baldur's Gate 3 is executed at such a high level that it's hard not to put it this high on my list. Having this much dialogue, this much content, so many options for how to tackle each situation can only happen when you have a developer who is fully focused on making the best product they can with lots of long hours and passion behind it. And truthfully, no other RPG in history has really had this much depth, while also having this high of a production value. And for that reason, Baldur's Gate 3 stands alone in a league of its own, that hopefully will push the industry and the RPG genre forward for decades to come. It's one of the all-time great RPGs without a doubt, even with its flaws, and stands as a testament to how much one studio can really change the gaming landscape.